I love racing, and that includes this, and this, I think. It's just always been my favorite sport, and yes, I do mean sport. Saying that these guys just drive in circles is the same as saying that this guy just throws a ball. And just like other sports, racing has its marquee events. The Coke 600, the Rolex 24, and the Chili Bowl are just a few. But today, we're going to focus on the three that make up the Triple Crown of motorsports. Monaco sure does have a lot going on for being the second smallest country in the world. You can gamble your kids' college fund away, party all night, or the Monaco Grand Prix is as synonymous with Monaco as bread is with sliced bread. The Grand Prix has been run 80 times since 1929 and is considered Formula One's most prestigious race. Like the other two races in the Triple Crown, winning here puts your name directly in the history books. In the 1960s, a driver named Graham Hill won the race 5 times and was thus dubbed Mr. Monaco. Michael Schumacher joins Hill with 5 wins and Alain Prost has 4. But the only person to have the mythical 6 wins at Monaco is none other than Prost's arch rival, Ayrton Senna. Monaco is very much a driver's track, and no matter what car Senna was in, he was that driver. In 1994, Senna signed with Williams to try and get his record-extending 7th Monaco win, which would have also been his 6th in a row. Unfortunately, just 2 weeks before,
and best driver, Ayrton Senna, the 3-time world champion, was killed today in a Formula One race in Imola. 41 total career wins.
Senna's unfortunate death meant that there would be a new Monaco winner for the first time in 6 years. 1994 saw the first win at Monaco for the legendary Michael Schumacher, which would begin his reign of terror at the track. And that brings us to the modern day. With the cars only getting bigger, it has made the on-track product suffer. Monaco is notorious for not being able to pass at. However, that only means that qualifying on Saturday means that much more, and it's often the most interesting part of the weekend. Finally, I feel I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention how the cars sound going through the tunnel. Take a listen.
It is my privilege to introduce to you Mr. Jim Neighbors. Back home again.
The Indianapolis 500 is my favorite race all year. Something about the in-person atmosphere, the entire month of May being a giant build-up to that 3-wide start, and of course the on-track racing make this so exciting.
This is, and always will be, the greatest spectacle in racing. This is the Indianapolis 500!
Watching 33 of these cars blow by at 240 miles per hour is just something you have to see in person. And it seems 300,000 people agree with me every year, which makes it the largest single-day sporting event in the world. It's not uncommon to see 3 generations of race fans come to the Indy 500 every year. It proves that no matter what your beliefs, background, or any of that nonsense is, it's just really cool to watch people go really fast. From a driving perspective, it may be an oval, but it is deceptively challenging. Each of the 4 corners drive completely differently and vary from lap to lap. I once had the opportunity to talk to hometown hero Ed Carpenter about this very fact. He said he watches the windsock on the top of the pylon every time after coming out of turn 4, just to know what the next lap is like. The thrill of a challenge have drawn many drivers to the Indianapolis 500, but only a few have been successful in its 100-year-plus history. A driver named Ray Herron was the first person to win the race in 1911. And with an average speed of 74.6 miles an hour, it took him just over 6.5 hours to complete the 500 miles. And he did it in this thing. Fast forward to 2023, where Joseph Newgarden won the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500. He did 500 miles with an average speed of 168 and did it in just under 3 hours. His car also looked a little bit different from the one in 1911. Other notable single-time winners are Mario Andretti, Scott Dixon, Jacques Villeneuve, and Mr. Monaco himself, Graham Hill. As of 2023, a whopping 10 drivers have won the Indy 500 twice, 6 drivers have made it a triple, but where the real legends lie, you'll find them in the 4-time winners category. Drivers who have won the Indianapolis 500 4 times fall into the top category of drivers, including F1 World Champions and your local Honda Civic driver. But one of the 4-time winners has a win that none of the other 3 have.
A.J. Foyt, the rookie everyone was worrying about, has charged into a 7-lap lead.
The 24 Hours of Le Mans has been the world's premier endurance race since its introduction in 1923. Being the only endurance race of the Triple Crown aspirees will have to put their hopes into themselves as well as their driver teammates to have a chance to win. Dan Gurney and rookie A.J. Foyt won the race in 1967. Which is the same year that Foyt won his 3rd Indianapolis 500. After this race, A.J. Foyt and Dan Gurney started spraying champagne on each other. This became a tradition which is still carried out by winning drivers today. The grueling 8.5-mile Circuit de la Sarthe where the race is held is a combination of very technical corners and incredibly long straights. Believe it or not, but the straights actually used to be longer. The giant backstretch known as the Mulsanne Straight has had to put 2 chicanes in the middle of it to keep the speeds of the cars down. Before the chicanes were added in 1990, 1988 saw a driver named Roger Dorchi set an all-time Le Mans speed record by taking his WM Peugeot an unbelievable 253 miles an hour down the Mulsanne Straight. The Mulsanne Straight also has a nice benefit of being incredibly photogenic, especially on the first few laps. Take a look. The chicanes were put in for safety, which had been under criticism ever since the 1955 Le Mans disaster, where a race car was set into a crowd of spectators which killed 83 people and injured 121, and is still the deadliest crash in motorsports history. Endurance racing today is a team sport, requiring multiple drivers to pilot the same car throughout a race. In 1950, a driver named Eddie Hall decided he didn't care about having teammates, so he completed the entire 24 Hours of Le Mans by himself. What a madman. Eddie Hall was the first and only person to do this and ended up finishing in 8th place. The 2023 running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans was very special because LeBron James was there. It also marked the 100th anniversary of the first running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Ferrari also competed for their first overall win since 1973 and ended up bringing it home. There was also one more car that made this race very special, but I kinda want to give it its own video. Given that it's a team race and that all the cars are separated into classes, it means that there are literal hundreds of winners of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The most notable is a driver named Tom Christensen, who has 9 wins at the race. Another very notable winner is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Graham Hill, who won the race in 1972 to complete the first and only Triple Crown. With only one person to ever have claimed the Triple Crown, is there anybody out there that could do it again? Personally, I believe Fernando Alonso is the closest to doing it today. He's won Monaco twice in 2006 and 2007, Le Mans 2018 and 2019, and has made several attempts at the Indy 500. In 2017, he was 7th with 22 laps to go before his engine gave up on him. This was a pretty heartbreaking loss. I would not be surprised if Alonso decides to try Indy a couple more times. And with that, let me know who you think could be the next Triple Crown winner in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, dudes.